Hi, this is Steve Fortner, editor of Keyboard Magazine, and I'm privileged to be here at Piedmont Piano Company in Oakland, California today with Dr. Christian Bluthner of Bluthner Pianos, Leipzig. And thank you for
pleasure to meet
joining us today. We've been walking around the place looking at pianos. It's a wonderful piano dealership, by the way, one of the premier ones in Northern California, or in the Bay Area, rather. They have many, many jazz concerts. I recently got to see Cheryl Benteen play here for the Manhattan Transfer. It's just a great center of music in the community here in Oakland. Dr. Bluthner has come out on business, and we're fortunate to have a specimen of a very unique piano design that Bluthner discovered and remade called the PH. We're entitled the PH1931.
Exactly, the PH is translating into Paul Henningsen, who is the designer of the piano, and he designed that in 1931. And he made that piano, he took away all the heavyweight of traditional style pianos, and he wanted to make it as transparent as possible to really feature the perfectionism of the craftsmanship of pianos. And I think he did very, very well. I found the original one in the Museum of Art and Design in Copenhagen, and no surprise, it's a Copenhagen designer. Well, what we do today is, of course, the leather could be changed in color. We did one in mink, we did one in crocodile, we did a python so far, and among many other things. Iron frames could come with fancy colors like titanium, chrome, black wine, whatever designers like. The legs, traditionally styled with a brushed aluminium, but also coming in nickel-plated, very shiny chrome look, or in polished brass, which is also one of the latest things we have done. Well, the instruments like that, obviously, this is a sculpture. It's combining with a wonderful instrument. It's rather small by size. So
5'9", 5'10".
Exactly.
6-foot class.
But you actually have a musical experience which transfers more to something what you expect from a 7-foot piano. And
I was just about to ask you about that, actually. I've seen a lot of sort of sculpture design-forward pianos that make a very bold design statement, and normally when I sit down at them, I'm rather underwhelmed by the tone because you're losing some of the wood cabinetry. This is a really notable exception to that. When I first sat down it the other night, when I was at Cheryl's concert, I was just really blown away with this. It's got this beautiful buttery bass, which internet audio is not going to do justice to. Not only is the sustain long, but it's very even as it rings out. You will not hear any undue or rapid changes in the decay curve. It's got a very even decay when you hold notes down. So I was just going to ask you, how did you go about making, applying Bluthner's techniques from your more conventional looking pianos to making this one sound so good?
of course, there are certain parameters which you will find in any very well-made piano, and of course we had to, it's a Bluthner, has my family name on it, so I would not accept compromising the tonal performance with the design. So a good example, for example, is if you take the keyboard or the keybed over here, that's actually where the keybed's resting on, that usually provides an extra rigidity to the overall design. So if you slim that out and change the design, you have to think about an alternative how to apply that rigidity, that strength, which you're losing out on that part. So this is just an example, and obviously we accomplished that mission quite nicely. So that is actually an achievement. If you do something like that, it's not just a cabinet work, it requires a real new design. It's actually built up from scratch. And, well, that's what you get.
what were some of your biggest design challenges, or not design challenges, but manufacturing?
Well, manufacturing is a bit problem to find a casting company being able to cast a three-dimensional frame or skeleton for that lid. And if you bring that down, you can actually see that it is actually curved in all directions.
Because one thing that's very lovely here too is that the music rack closes flush with the lid when you have it like this.
You know, what you have over here over the years, just by the weight of the lid, if that would be not, this is a casted aluminium, that would flatten. We don't want that. We want that to be as beautiful as it is the first day for a century to come. Well, over here you see another little detail. What you see, all these strips are made from high-class stainless steel. And you have holes cut by lasers into that stainless steel, and then we use the traditional screws which have been used by Paul Henningsen and tied that stainless steel to the skeleton. So can you imagine, that means about 260 screws. You have to drill them, you have to cut a winding in it, then you have to apply the screws. You mess one screw up, that lid is gone. There's no way to get that.
So you have to really even out the torque of
exactly.
all of the screws.
So it really requires quite some skill.
Well, this lid is not, it looks far more lightweight than it is. So we have an aluminum, all this framing is aluminum. We have a nice plexiglass.
Yes, actually the plexiglass, people say, this is another feature. We found a plexiglass which would not become yellowish. There's a warranty coming with it that for over 30 years, that's so far what the manufacturer is going, that is not going to stain or change in any regards. And it's a plexi which we found from medical applications.
Oh, okay.
And since I'm a medical doctor myself, I worked the lab for many, many years. I just called the guys who specifically made a plexiglass for our medical applications, and that's how we got it.
Fabulous. How did you, Alex Hernandez, you're the director of sales here in the U.S., was telling me that there was a bit of a process in ensuring the even soundboard height across the instrument and the relationship between the soundboard and the frame.
Well, the soundboard itself is crowned. It's pre-crowned like a cylinder, you know. And that is what you want is there's a vibration, the energy going into the soundboard. Soundboard starts to vibrate, and there's a certain rigidity in the soundboard. If the energy on the soundboard doesn't absorb, it doesn't support it anymore, sound starts fading very, very fast. So you have that vibrations, and immediately it goes down. And that happens because other cabinet parts start to absorb that energy. With our design, we just make sure that there's no cabinet parts picking up these vibrations and absorbing energy and draining actually the soundboard. We try to have all that energy on the soundboard and transforming it into sound waves. That's what we hear. And that's one of the secrets why that Bluthners have that incredible sustain and they are even. You know, many pianos you find that there are some sections, a couple of dead notes. So why does that come from? It's cabinet parts were starting to resonate with that certain frequencies, and they drain that energy.
Right, and every frequency of every note is going to energize the soundboard somewhat differently, and you're going to have different challenges.
Absolutely.
With different connections and joints to other parts of the piano.
Absolutely.
So getting it even is really with an instrument in this class, it's just really a lot of time and attention to every single instrument and regulating.
Absolutely.
Single instrument.
Customers in this category, they are perfectionists in all aspects. It's not only the design, they want to have a performance level piano. And so you have to really face both challenges.
Very good. Very good. And this is we should say this is a very high-end connoisseur's instrument at in the U.S. around $154,000
minimum, starting from there. So of course
then you can go nuts with colors here and colors here for the
and applications and whatever you want. Yes, Bluthner is actually a company known for taking the challenges brought to us from designers. People are actually designing very often their own pianos, and they say that's what I would like, and we even could do a wood finish here. So it doesn't need to be a leather or a fabric or a fur. They could be wood finish too.
Okay, well, Bluthner pianos, their philosophy, as distinctly stated from other high-end piano manufacturers, is to imitate the human voice.
That's exactly right. Actually, there's a very famous conductor who said that to a Bluthner, and I think it's probably the best compliment you can pay to a musical instrument. He says, Bluthner pianos can really sing. So, and this is something, if you read the old letters from Prokofiev, Shostakovich, Debussy, Bruckner, Mahler, Grieg, what inspired them, Rachmaninoff, then you can't. You have a responsibility as a family member not to compromise on what these people been once inspired by. That is that incredible, warm singing tone.
Well, we're going to now listen to a bit of that singing tone and play a bit.
Good.
But Dr. Bluthner, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to Keyboard today.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you.
It's really a privilege to see this beautiful, beautiful piano. Don't be skeptical of it being designed forward. It sounds even better than it looks.